One word of advice to Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, the compromised Prime Minister, as some people would say. And the word of advice is the way in which you deliver a speech is so disgusting that either you have to change your script writer or tell him to use a different style of telling lies. You have to tell lies, that's clear, but the way of telling lies has to change. So you have to change your style. That means you have to instruct your script writer or change your script writer. For instance, when you tell a lie, it should sound plausible. And that means at least some of the people would be believing at least 2 or 3% of what you are saying. They may not believe all the things you say. All the people may not believe what you are saying, but at least some of the people will believe at least 3, 4, 5% of what you are saying. They may doubt that maybe this time he is not lying. Every time our Prime Minister tells lies, but maybe this time there is some truth in it. So, when you start crying over the ignominious defeat in Parliament you had over delimitation bill, it was delimitation bill, not women's reservation bill. Women's reservation bill already passed by Parliament in 2023, around September or October, already passed. So it's not the women's reservation bill. What was defeated was delimitation bill. So when you say women's bill was defeated by the opposition, you don't even mention delimitation. You don't even pronounce the word delimitation, but only cry that opposition defeated the women's bill. I'm apologizing. All this cliche, all these nonsense jumlas. What happens? It sounds disgusting and no one believes. They know that outright it is just to malign the opposition. Zero substance, 100% drama. They know that. And your credibility, it can't go down further. It is already zero, but it remains at zero. It remains at zero because it cannot go down any further. So if you want at least some people who may not be so highly knowledgeable about all these political matters, number of seats, what is the meaning of delimitation, if they do not know, start with delimitation. Start with delimitation, which would be the truth. Then rambling, confusion, circumlocution, beating round the bush, confusion, more confusion, meaningless logic, unscientific logic, illogical argument, and you relate it to women's bill. Indirectly, the arithmetic would be, although there's no logic, but still, the arithmetic would be that more seats would mean more women. 33% of 500 plus and 33% of 800 plus, they are not same. So, more women. So that somehow by confusion, circumlocution, rambling, meaningless rambling, you can maybe convince some of the people about 1% of what you are saying. But when you don't even mention delimitation, when you straight away say women's bill, people know you are lying. You are lying, and it is proving counterproductive because this is done to malign the opposition, not the real fact. That means it is not constructive politics but destructive politics. And people understand that. People are not fools. The biggest mistake BJP makes is that it thinks people are fools. BJP people are very clever and all the people are fools. That is the biggest blunder which is going to flounder you. So start with delimitation. Don't hide the word delimitation. Don't start with women's and only women, only women. Start with delimitation. And then through arguments which are bereft of logic, they may not have logic. They don't have any meaning, they don't have any logic, but confusion, more confusion, bring it to the women's bill, then maybe it could be sounding plausible. Maybe some of the people could be believing a part of it, a 5% of what you are saying. But not even mentioning, not even pronouncing the word delimitation, straight away going to women's bill, people know it is total nonsense. You are lying. You are lying, it's okay. But people know you are lying, that's the problem. The problem is not lying, but it's absolutely clear to the people, everyone knows you are lying. Because already your credibility is very low. Nobody in the world believes you. That's a different thing. So your credibility is eroded further. It can't be eroded further. It is at zero. It doesn't improve. Your credibility doesn't improve. If you want at least it to sound sensible, you have to start with the word delimitation and then go on confusing with zero logic, cliches and jumlas and connect it to women's bill. Maybe some people may believe a small percentage, 4% of what you believe. 4, not more than that. The second thing is, you will have to tell your script writer to avoid certain cliche because you have used them, overused them for the last 11 years. And they have become not only meaningless but also disgusting. They sound disgusting. And you remind the people not to vote for you. When you use using those cliché, when you are using these cliché, for instance, double engine, you are reminding the people that every double engine government is a hell, is a disaster. Double engine in UP, disaster. Double engine in Bihar, disaster. Double engine in Orissa, disaster. You are reminding the people that double engine is a disaster. So avoid that cliche double engine and tell your script writer to substitute it with some other word. Or change your total speech, total script. Then maybe you may not win, but you may get a few more votes, if not a few more seats. But the way in which you are going, the same old cliche, the same meaningless cliche, disgusting, which people know 100% nonsense. When you repeat, what happens? People get so disgusted and people move away from you. People are reminded of the horror. Double engine horror in UP, double engine horror in Orissa, double engine horror in Madhya Pradesh, double engine horror in other states. Then they are terrified. You actually drive them away from BJP. So stop using these cliches. You are saying education, but people are saying that you have made a class 7 fail the chief minister in Bihar. So you could not even get an educated person. Your own level of education, that's a different thing. That is known to the world. We are not talking about that. Your level of education, your level of IQ, that's a different thing. We won't talk about that. But you have made an uneducated person the chief minister. That means you don't have educated people in your own party. So this is the state of affairs. You are killing science and encouraging superstition. One of your stupid ministers, the biggest stupid, one of the biggest stupid ministers, he was telling students, and the students were laughing, he was telling the students, not Neil Armstrong, Hanuman was the first creature to land on moon. So when these nonsense superstition ministers are saying to students of science, they laugh and they promise they will never vote for BJP. The students have got it into their heads that this is the standard of BJP. So you will have to change your style. Telling lies, that is inborn, you can't change. And without telling lies, you can't win also. You can't win even one vote without telling a lie. That's a different thing. But if you tell a lie, at least let it be plausible. So avoid cliche which send shock waves. The word double engine is sending shock waves when they remember the condition of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Orissa. So avoid these cliches, avoid these jumlas, and do not try with women's bill. Start with delimitation, the truth. Start with the truth and then move on to your pet fake cliche women's bill. Otherwise, actually you are defaming the opposition without reason, and people see it as a negative politics, destructive politics, not as a constructive politics, and that's exactly what it is. But it should not appear so. It shouldn't appear openly that you are indulging in destructive politics. Start with delimitation. Not pronouncing and hiding the word delimitation is not going to help. People are not fools. Do not hide the word delimitation bill. Do not hide the word. Say delimitation bill. Start with delimitation bill and then say. But not even pronouncing delimitation, only trying women's bill. People know it is 100% meaningless. It's a total lie. It's a brazen excuse to defame the opposition, and there is no element of truth in it. So it's not the women's bill. You have to start with delimitation bill. At least some truth must be there. At least 1% truth must be there. It can't be 100% lie, the way in which you are speaking. So if you want a few more votes, I won't say seats, I can't guarantee. If you want a few more votes, at least you will have to change your method of lying. Telling lies, that you can't change, but you will have to change your method of lying. Telling lies, okay, because without that BJP cannot survive. Telling lies, okay, but you'll have to change your style of telling lies. Start with the word delimitation, not start with women's bill. And avoid certain cliche which send horror and shock through people like double engine. They only terrify the people when they think of the hell double engine government is in certain states. So that was a word of advice, but I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would do that, but if he can do that, okay, maybe a few more seats or a few more votes. I can't say seats, but a few more votes. Otherwise, going down and down to total oblivion and total extinction in the coming years.